tonight, our question comes from our loyal listener, Jennifer C. And Jennifer has a daughter, and her question was, how do you handle when your daughter wants to begin dating?
How old is Jennifer's daughter? Do you have any idea?
I think she's around the 13 mark, somewhere in that neighborhood.
So it's time to start giving this thought and having those conversations.
She is entering into the wonderful world of boys, as I like to call it.
So I think that to start, we have to start by defining what dating is, because if you asked me when I was, 11, 12, 13, 14, how I defined, like, if I was dating someone, and if you ask me now, I think that the two definitions would be very different. So what is dating?
I can remember asking you when you would say something about, dating someone. Mm-hmm. And back then, your idea of dating was like, I guess almost like going steady or going to an outing with someone. It wasn't necessarily an exclusive type of relationship, which is what I view somewhat dating as being.
Like when I was 10, here was my relationship with my boyfriend. Every morning when we would get to school, we would give each other a hug.
Oh, touchy-feely.
Right.
Do you remember his name?
Yeah, but I don't want to call him out. He's married now.
Well, you can just use a first name, but I was just curious.
His name is Steven.
I was just wondering if you remembered his name.
His name is Steven, and he was my first boyfriend, and we were in Peter and Judy's class, fifth grade.
I remember Steven.
Yeah, so I'd get to school, and I'd give him a hug, or he'd give me a hug, and then we wouldn't really speak for the whole rest of the day.
Did you have classes together?
Well, this was Paideia, so it wasn't like that in elementary, remember? We were in the same class, though. We were both in Peter and
that's what I mean.
Class.
If you were in like the same, so you didn't see each other.
Yeah, we saw each other during the day. We just didn't really speak. Like sometimes during lunch, like we might like sit together.
Okay.
Silently.
Would you sit with other people or just the two of you?
With other people.
Okay.
Yeah, and like so I would be talking with my friends, he'd be talking with his friends, so we'd be sitting next to each other. And then at the end of the school day, before you picked me up, we would hug goodbye. Okay. And then at some point during the evening, he would call me, and we would hold the phone in silence.
And say nothing.
And say absolutely nothing for about 30 minutes. And that was my boyfriend. My reason for asking us to define boyfriend and define dating is because sometimes I feel like parents exert too much control over their kids, but especially daughters, by telling them that you can't have a boyfriend when really
it's nothing.
It's harmless.
I think that's because, as parents, we're thinking in the big scheme of things on what a boyfriend is. We're forgetting that you guys at that stage don't know tit for tat.
Exactly. Like when I hear the question how do you handle when your daughter wants to date? I think that word date means she wants to hang out with one boy exclusively outside of school.
Yes.
Or outside of church or, wherever it is that they met. She wants to hang out with him outside of structured time. But for the most part, we both agreed that middle school, 12, 13 is an appropriate age to have a boyfriend as long as there is always adult supervision.
I think so.
So my next question is taking it a step further. At what age do you think it's appropriate for a young lady to, she has a boyfriend, what age can she date without parental supervision? So, what age can she go to parties that, boys and girls are attending? And yes, there's parents in the house, but the parents aren't, down there. What age can, she go on a group date, a whole group of them go to the movies or to the mall together, but the parents don't stay. They just kind of drop off and pick up, group situation.
Okay, again, it's a maturity level and knowing your kid, but I still think at that age, I would think, certainly by the 14 mark.
I was going to say freshman year of high school.
Yeah.
So what do you think though, Mama, about car dates? Because I think that's kind of different. And that's when your daughter's boyfriend is picking her up from your house and then they are going to whatever location.
Again, I think at that stage, they both have to be of driving age. Because let's say your boyfriend is 16 and has his driver's license, and you're only 14 or 15. Well, I'm not necessarily going to trust for you to go off with him. He can drive to our house and see you, Or if you guys are going to do something out, I can drop you off to meet him. But then again, though, I have to trust, though, that you guys are going to stay where you say you're going to stay, and you're not going to then get in the car with him and go off someplace.
Right. Basically, by the time I got my license, my parents told me, here's your curfew. You check in with us basically this amount of times during the day. But, like, you go where you go. Let us know where you are, but, go where you go. And my boyfriend had an apartment. And I remember, going to his apartment. And for that reason, I don't think that it's appropriate for people that are in high school to necessarily date people that are out of high school. And no, there's no way you can tell your daughter, well, when he graduates, you got to break up with him.
Right.
But, I don't necessarily think that I would be comfortable looking back having my daughter go to this grown man's apartment.
If you look at it this way, once your child starts driving, you have lost control anyway. They can tell you they're going to the mall and still go to the boyfriend's apartment.
Yeah.
So again, you have to trust your child, trust them to be honest with you. And I always told you, even when I found out, that he had his own place, I remember saying to you, look, you need to be honest with me and tell me where you're going, because if you go somewhere, if you tell me you're going one place and you go someplace else and something happens, number one, I can't find you. Number two, if something goes wrong, I can't help you.
Yeah.
And you just have to trust that you raised your child right and gave them the right morals and the right tools to handle themselves in whatever situation they're in.